Good evening and welcome to our X39 stem cell activation patch review with testimonials. My name is Dr. Jon Harmon and I get to be your host this evening along with my good buddy Savvy Vargas as we explore this wonderful new wearable health technology called the X39. I'd like to start off by saying that although I am a doctor, I am not making any diagnoses, and this product that we'll be talking about is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. So if you have a disease, you should always consult with your doctor in advance of starting any new protocols or regimens. So having said that, I talked about testimonials. So these are people who have volunteered to share their experience with the X39 tonight and to tell us what their experience has been. Your experience may be a little bit different than theirs. We don't make any claims that everybody is the same and responds the same. However, these are their experiences. And over the last year, I've heard hundreds of other people tell their story as well of healing. It is our goal to help people be their best and live out their life's fullest expression. And we're doing this by sharing this X39 with people all over the world now. So we're going to start off with our testimonials tonight. So I'm going to throw it over to my good friend Savvy. Savvy, take it away for the testimonials.
Thank you, Dr. Harmon. So we have two lovely ladies tonight. We have Marilyn with us and we have Jeannie. And we're going to start with Marilyn. And I don't know anything about Marilyn's testimonial. So this is going to be very raw and unfiltered. So this should be very good. Marilyn, can you share with us, please, your
X39?
Yeah, your experience with the X39, please.
Sure. I started on the X39 about a year ago, March. And I really didn't expect anything from a little tiny skinny patch that you put on the back of your neck. I'm going, how can this possibly work? Well, was I ever surprised and was I ever wrong? I put it on my neck, slept, I put it on for 12 hours, took it off. The next morning I woke up and I felt really refreshed. I hadn't slept that deep in a long time. I was dreaming in 3D. I even woke up with a big old smile on my face. And I remember that a couple of days later, I'm going, wow, I feel like dancing. I was just feeling my mental clarity was starting to feel better. I'm a brain injury survivor. I drove on I-4 and lost my vision in broad daylight going 65 miles an hour several years ago and passed out at the wheel in 5 lanes of traffic. Anyway, to make a long story short, I ended up in the hospital having decompression surgery. They told me I had 1 month to live if the doctor didn't do brain surgery on me. So I was very dyslexic after that. In fact, I would type on the internet and I was 100% backwards, had a lot of brain fog. And within a few days, some of that brain fog was kind of lifting. And you would never know that I had been through all that trauma now. And another thing that I noticed, I'm also a cornea transplant recipient. I've had over 20 operations on my eyes. And I had floaters in my eyes. And recently I've noticed that the scar tissue in my eyes is flattening out. After I had cataract surgery, it left me with one eye far and one eye near. And I'm starting to read with my far-sighted eye. So there's some huge changes in my vision going on right now that is just absolutely blowing me away. When I was a little girl, I had 6 operations on my leg from fibrous dysplasia, and all of that scarring on my hips and down my leg, that's flattening out. And you could still see the railroad tracks, but the big hump in the middle is completely gone. It's completely flattened out. 30 years ago, I hurt my lower back. And I was out of work for 3 years with lower back issues. And I started bodybuilding. That's the only way I could function. And Gradually over the years, it kind of got to the point where I wasn't quite so happy with my lower back. I never could get completely out of pain. I had ruptured disc, herniated disc, degenerative disc, and sciatica. And then in, I think it was 2012, I re-injured that again. And I ended up in emergency, and I was just screaming in pain because it was pivoting right on my sciatic. And I was in a walker. I had to have my aunt and uncle take care of me. And it went on for months. And I never could get completely out of that catch in my lower back. And in 30 days on the patch, I can dance, do the hula hula. I'm completely, totally pain-free. The inflammation in my left leg from all those 6 operations, that's totally gone. I had a catch in my right knee. That's totally gone. And the latest one is last week when you guys were on the testimonial call Tuesday night, I have a tumor between at the top of my thighs, and I've had it for probably 25 years. It's a real hard knot. I never went to the doctor because there again, they probably want to cut me up, and I'm tired of being cut up, drugged up, and shot up. So I pinched it. That tumor has dissolved completely. It has completely gone away. I used to have trigger fingers. I used to wear braces on my fingers and my hands and carpal tunnel. I have absolutely no problem with any of my joints whatsoever right now. And I could probably think of more things that are, skin looks better. I look younger. My hair isn't falling out when I wash it. I had a toothache the other day. I put an X39 on it for a couple of days. The toothache went away. I just can't say enough about X39. I'm just ecstatic that this is an alternative to going to the doctor and getting drugged up. I mean, I could sink a battleship with the drugs that I've taken over the years. So back to you.
Savvy, are you there? We may have lost Savvy.
No, I'm here.
Are you there? Okay.
I'm here. Marilyn, you just put the hospitals out of business with that testimony. Good grief. I mean, is there anything else that you had to deal with?
Well, I've had bone surgery, breast surgery, brain surgery, eye surgery. When it came to back surgery, I said, no way, because I know it's got like a 70% failure rate. Well, I said, someday, some way, I'm going to get out of pain. And the patch did it.
And now the thing that stands out for me with all of that is we talk about, and Dr. Harmon will explain this, when we talk about the X39, right, we talk about that it elevates GHK copper peptides, which boost collagen, the glue, right, that holds us together. But it also diminishes scar tissue. You talked about the eyes, the trigger finger, the back. I can't even remember all of it now. But the stuff you talked about reminds me of how it reduces scar tissue as well as glues you back together. So I'm absolutely thrilled for you that you've had so much improvement and in not that long of time, right? How long on the X39?
I've been on it since about March 30th of last year. And
Okay.
I got results in the first week with getting rid of I was always chasing a little bug around that was a floater in my eye. Within a week, that floater was gone.
Okay, so that's really encouraging for a lot of people. The floaters thing with the eyes, a lot of people have that. So that's
Correct.
very encouraging. You have been rebuilt without surgery in a year's time, it looks like. So,
and another thing, when you guys had a call one night, I think Dr. Harmon was saying, if you have a headache, which I hardly ever have, but that night I did, he said, take your X39, put it in the front of your head, of your forehead. So I took it off my neck, slapped it on my forehead during that call. And in 10 minutes, my headache was gone.
you know, your body responds very well to light frequency, right? Very, very.
Yeah, it doesn't like drugs. It doesn't like to be cut up anymore and shot up. It's like had enough.
Well, we're going to have you back in a couple of months and we can have the new list of improvements. Okay. So we appreciate you. Thank you very much for helping us out tonight. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Marilyn. So now we're going to go on to Jeannie Mudd. And listen, it's not everybody on testimonials that will talk about getting run over by a truck. But with Jeannie, we're going to talk about that tonight. So Jeannie, tell us about this truck running over you.
All right. Well, it was about 1.5 years ago when I had my old truck and I'm getting a load of wood at a pecan farm.
Right.
There was a truck going between these two monster buildings. So I watched it go past and looked like it was going in the building. So I'm going around the back of it. And I don't know what happened after that. The next thing I know, I'm being knocked on my right shoulder and he's going over my legs and I'm screaming very loud. And then there they are. Then I freaked out and he freaked out and went back over my legs again. So yeah, that was the first one. This was it's really badly bruised, but when I got run over, yeah, the inside internal damage was so bad that it wasn't even, it hadn't opened yet, the wound. And then it just got really weird and got really bad. But yeah, it was pretty bad. I've never been in any car wreck, and I was just thinking of Marilyn. I thought, oh, this is my very first car wreck, or I guess run over. I've been very fortunate. But this is where it really was last March when I guess it was April when I started on the patches. And I thought, yeah, that's really good. It's really closed up. I also had this bump on top of my leg that it was so huge that I could put my plate and a cup on it. It was so swollen and so big. And one doctor said that bump is always going to be there. No problem. It's just going to be there. And it has gone down to where I can't have a plate anymore. Yeah. You can see there, that is where the scar was. It's incredible what's happened. It just looks really good. In fact, when someone was talking about their scarring, I actually went to look and I thought, oh my gosh, where is it? Where is it? So it's pretty amazing what this X39 has done. It's still working on my leg because it's numb from about that knee all the way down to my ankle. About a third of my leg up and down is still numb. But I just know, I just praise the X39 and the stem cells because I'm so glad they know where to go, because I wouldn't be the judge of putting them in the right place. And then I also was hit on my shoulder. Okay,
your shoulder too, right?
Yeah, I ran into I was knocked on my shoulder. I kind of didn't notice that because it wasn't as injured. Well, it was, because I'm still working on it now. I'm still having a hard time with it. But I'd say in the last 5 months, I've just been patching twice on both sides. So this one doesn't get any worse, so that I have more use of it. It's getting better slowly. I've just never been so injured before in my life. I thought in about 3 months, I'd be all done, but it was much bigger than I ever considered. Yeah.
Well, it's still amazing because, shoulders, if it's rotator cuff,
yeah,
they take a long time to heal. But what's amazing about your leg is the scar reduction, right? Because we saw the original pictures, there was a hole in there.
It was a hole.
Was a chunk. Yeah, there was a chunk there.
I didn't even show you the work part. That wasn't bad.
Yeah, I mean,
that was healing.
So that was it was worse than that. But you never broke any bones in this accident. There were no bones broken.
There were no bones broken. That was what was amazing. The doctor did say if he hadn't looked at my age, that he would never have suspected. He thought I would be somewhere between 30 and 35 with my bone structure, which is quite nice since I'm 71 now. So I'm pretty pleased with my good
scar
bone.
Reduction is absolutely. Yeah, so you definitely have strong bones.
Yeah.
The scar reduction is a big deal because I've even seen some of Dr. Herman's on his knee replacement, the scar, how fast it's fading. So with the amount of surgeries that take place in this country, whether it be planned or whether it be accidents, the scar reduction is a big deal for a lot of people. So thank you for sharing all of that. And anything else as regards X39? How about, you know, your mood? Because Marilyn mentioned
Oh, yeah.
her moon elevated.
Well, yeah, it was
you know,
very
during the,
helpful. Having X39 sitting around a lot because I didn't have a lot of movement at that time. To slap the X39 on, I noticed within, it probably was a day. The next day I was feeling better, and each day it got a little bit better and just easier to be so injured. If that's the way to talk about it. But then also,
yeah, because, I mean, a lot of the time, right.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of the times when you're down and out like that, people can get depressed, you know, so I'm happy to hear that your mood stayed high as you were healing, right?
Yeah, it really helped a lot. And what else?
Well, thank you, Jeannie, for that. We appreciate you. You know, it's not every day you get run over by trucks, and don't break any bones. Happy for that.
Yeah. I hope no one else has the experience.
Yeah, exactly. So now we're going to ask Dr. Harmon to share with us the science on how these people can heal so rapidly and so effectively with something that looks like a Band-Aid, right? So we have this product that looks like a Band-Aid, but it's using light to heal the body in amazing ways, as you saw here tonight with these two testimonials. So we're going to turn it back to Dr. Harmon to explain to us the science, and then we want to know, how do we get these patches into the houses? All right.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Savvy. I really appreciate the testimonials tonight, and I am going to talk about why that scar tissue went away. But I want to first talk about this little patch. It doesn't look like much. Like Savvy said, it doesn't have stem cells in it. There's nothing that goes from the patch into your body other than frequencies of light that your body is already making. Let me explain how that works. The founder of our company, David Schmidt, he devised probably the most brilliant biohack I've ever heard of, in that he went about looking at how to heal the body in a way of conserving energy, and that is reutilizing the biophotons that our bodies are emitting. So he came up, I don't even know how people think of this stuff. He figured out how to combine some amino acids, salts, stabilized oxygen, and other things. It's proprietary information, but he combined them in such a way that they form their own crystal structure in that flat Band-Aid-like patch that then, when placed on the body, will specifically concentrate and reflect back into our body photons, biophotons, infrared, far infrared, other things that our body's already making. So I look at David as the biggest conservationist in the world, because he figured out how to repurpose energy that's already being made. We don't have to dig anything out of the earth to make it. And then to trigger or turn on different pathways in the body. The X39 signals our body to increase the production of a natural peptide, a natural occurring peptide. And that peptide is called the GHK copper peptide. Like I said, it's naturally occurring, but as we age, it starts to decrease. Our body decreases the amount that it makes. And this is one of the reasons that aging occurs. The GHK copper peptide, only one of the benefits of increasing that peptide is that it increases our stem cell production and turns those old stem cells young again. It's a reverse aging of our stem cells. So what are stem cells? There's this huge industry worldwide, 40 billion a year, where they harvest stem cells from somewhere. A lot of times it's from a recent birth. It's from the umbilical cord of a recent birth. And they'll extract those and then inject those or give them in an infusion into someone else. This is why it's been a little controversial. They figured out ways of spinning them down from your own bone marrow and other ways, but they're very, very expensive. I've heard way like 50,000, but most of them are 5,000 to 7,000. And people will go and travel far and wide to get those stem cell injections. Well, along comes the X39. The X39 actually elevates your own stem cells. They're not somebody else's, they're your own. And then these stem cells can become any kind of stem cell, any kind of cell. They are what we call pluripotent stem cells. They become a different type of stem cell called omnipotent, which can become a liver cell, a bone cell, a skin cell, whatever your body is in need of. So this is why there's this buzz all around the world about stem cells, except David Schmidt figured out how to do it for about the price of a cup of coffee a day, rather than a $5,000 injection, and increase your own stem cells. Well, what else does the GHK copper peptide do? Go to the man's website who discovered it in 1973. His name is Dr. Loren Pickart, Loren Pickart, Pickart, and his website is reverseagingwithghk.com. Reverseagingwithghk.com. That kind of implies what it does. They talked about scar tissue and lumps going away. Here's the property, one of the properties of GHK. It increases collagen repair, like Savvy was saying, but it also increases collagen destruction, where destruction is needed. Where would that be? Scar tissue forms cross linkages, and it makes it so the tissue is not very flexible, and it's painful, and because it's restricted. Well, the GHK, the body uses that to break those cross linkages. So scar tissue becomes more like normal skin and less painful. In my own body, I had a knee replacement without the X39 in 2019 and one in October of 2020. And the scar is much less on the one that had the X39. And healing and inflammation were much less as well. Those are from kind of a little bit of a wild skier and runner, and I wore them out. So that's a little bit about the science. Wonderful studies have been done. Double-blind study just came out showing, and this is what the company had to prove.
Dr. Harmon, you went out on your sound.
The cardiovascular system act younger. Every day you wear it, it acts a day and a third younger by doing that. Lots of studies have been done. It's not something just we talk about. There are actual studies that show these benefits. Now, we don't make claims about diseases and things like that. We state that they're good for supporting the body and regeneration and healing. And your experience is your experience. The stem cells will go where they are needed. You don't have a good measurement. It might be going to increase your bone density or regenerate your liver. It's kind of difficult to feel that. So I tell people, don't expect it in the first few days, but just know it raised your GHK and it raised your stem cells, and they're going to fix something. They're going to go around and fix things. So how do we get these? There are several different ways. You can do a one-time purchase of a month's supply that looks like this. It's called a sleeve. There are 30 patches in here. This is for one-time purchase, retails $149. Or you can, what we think is a better choice, you can do go on as a preferred customer, and there's free product that involves in that. You also get wholesale pricing when you do an auto ship with us. If what we are talking about tonight, what we do is that we help people be their best, live out their life's best, fullest expression. If that resonates with you and helping people heal by using energy that's already produced by their body, join with us. Anywhere from a $25 fee to all the way up to $1,600, just depending on how big and fast you want to go. But at least get these on your body. There are different packs you can purchase to get started with the company as an agent or rep with us. And that is, you can purchase one of these plus that $25 fee, $124.95. There's another pack called the Silver Pack. You get 3 of these. That's enough to share with a few people. I like the Gold Pack because you get a whole month supply for yourself and one for a partner and some to share. And it goes all the way up to what's called the Diamond Pack, and that's 19 sleeves. And that you can do a lot with that as far as having product on hand. So we want to thank you for coming tonight. I love talking about this subject. I've been with the company for a little over a year. It has changed my health. I wasn't one of those people who had an overnight shift. And this is what I want to say and encourage you. If you don't have an overnight shift or a few days, my big shift came at 2.5 months in my gut health. My next big shift came at 4.5 months in my heart health. I still don't have PVCs anymore, preventricular contractions. And then my next big shift came at 11 months. So this isn't a short-term relationship that you want to start with stem cells. It's a long-term relationship. You want to start and just know that it may take a little while for your body to have enough energy and heal enough so that it can make a lot of good stem cells and fix things. But give it a chance. It will happen for you. And we want to encourage you to reach out to the person who invited you here tonight. They can show you how to get some of these and then start sharing them if you choose to do so. Tune in tomorrow night. We have another one of these on the same meeting ID number. We have one almost every night. Sometimes they're in the afternoon towards the weekend and on weekends, but that person who invited you here tonight can share that with you. Thanks a lot for coming. Well, I'll see you next Tuesday, but there'll be some of our other expert representatives tomorrow night and the rest of the nights this week. Thanks for coming. We'll see you next time.
Thank you, Jeannie. Thank you, Marilyn.
Welcome. Thank you.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you, Marilyn. Thank you,
Thank
Jeannie.
you, everybody.
Thank you, Savvy.
All a great team.
Thank you,
Awesome.
Savvy and
Thank
Dr.
Thank you.
Harmon for the information about
Bye, Dave.
retracing.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.